Something has moved through here. Oh my, look at this. Holy, look at that. That is a footprint.
Russell Acord leads the Expedition Bigfoot team, a group of determined researchers and enthusiasts dedicated to uncovering undeniable evidence of Bigfoot's existence. Their work isn't just about the thrill of the hunt. It raises a profound question. Can they finally prove that Bigfoot is more than a legend? For decades, even centuries, those drawn to the unexplained have tried to do just that. Despite countless hours of exploration and investigation, the results have been inconclusive. Blurry photos, shaky videos, and fragmented eyewitness accounts that skeptics easily dismiss. Yet, for Russell and his team, the search is about more than just proving skeptics wrong. It's about solving one of the greatest mysteries of the natural world. The team faces challenges at every turn, from skepticism to the difficulty of finding credible evidence. Still, their perseverance is fueled by hope, the hope that they might answer questions that have lingered for generations. Their dedication is matched by the expertise they bring to the field. Alongside Russell, experts like Dr. Maria Mayer, a respected primatologist, lend credibility to the search. Mayer's deep understanding of primate behavior in challenging environments makes her an invaluable asset to the team.
I would like to get Ronnie and Maria to scan this. That combined with the smaller prints in the mud down below, we have to bring them in.
Together, they aim to decode the mystery of Bigfoot, focusing especially on its most famous calling card, those massive footprints. A remarkable discovery in the forest. The team's latest expedition led them deep into one of the densest and most remote forests in the United States, a vast wilderness so untouched by human activity that it seemed like a portal to a bygone era. This was no ordinary forest. It was a labyrinth of towering trees, thick underbrush, and tangled vines that stretched as far as the eye could see. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and foliage, and the only sounds were the distant rustling of leaves and the occasional call of unseen birds. The sheer isolation of the area made it clear that this was the perfect environment for an elusive creature to thrive undetected. It was here, in this primeval landscape, that the team came across a discovery that would forever alter the trajectory of their search. Amidst the moss-covered ground and scattered pine needles, they found a series of footprints that defied explanation. These weren't ordinary impressions left by hikers, wildlife, or even large predators. The tracks were so massive and so unusual in shape that even the most experienced members of the team were left momentarily speechless. The prints seemed to whisper a story, one of a creature both immense and mysterious, moving with purpose through the forest. The footprints themselves were enormous, far larger than those of any known human or animal.
Hey, Russ.
Hey! What do you got?
What I want to show you is just up above me here.
Okay.
What I found up here is amazing, and we have a significant find that I need you guys to have a look at.
To convey their sheer scale, one team member compared them to the famously large feet of basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal, whose size 22 shoes are legendary in their own right. Yet, these tracks dwarfed even Shaq's impressive measurements. Their size alone was startling, but what truly set these prints apart was the way the creature seemed to move. The impressions showed a distinct heel-to-toe motion, rolling forward with a fluidity rarely seen in either human or animal gaits. The spacing between the prints indicated a stride length far beyond that of any human, suggesting a being not only massive, but also tall, powerful, and built for efficient movement through rough terrain. The pattern of the tracks added another layer of mystery. The heel of each print pressed deeply into the ground, indicating significant weight, while the toes tapered off with a lighter impression, as if the creature was pushing itself forward in a deliberate and confident stride. This type of movement was unlike anything the team had encountered before, pointing unmistakably to a bipedal creature, a being far larger and more formidable than any human could ever hope to imitate. The implications of these footprints raised the stakes of their investigation dramatically. This was no longer just a search for evidence, it was a potential breakthrough, a moment when the team might finally be closing in on an answer to one of the world's greatest mysteries. The prints were more than just impressions in the soil. They were a tangible connection to the possibility that something extraordinary was moving through this untouched wilderness. The team's discovery didn't just raise questions, it ignited a renewed sense of purpose, pushing them to delve deeper into the forest and closer to the truth they had been seeking for so long. A game changer for Bigfoot research. For Russell and his team, this discovery marked a crucial moment. The sheer size and depth of the footprints suggested an enormous creature, one with a weight and stature that matched the descriptions of Bigfoot passed down through folklore and eyewitness accounts. These tracks weren't just evidence. They were a beacon, guiding the team closer to their ultimate goal. The prints revived the group's passion, fueling their determination to uncover the truth about the creature that left them. Realizing the importance of their find, the team called in Ronnie LeBlanc, a renowned expert in the field of Bigfoot research. LeBlanc's expertise added weight to their investigation, as he helped them analyze the tracks in meticulous detail. The team measured the depth and spacing between the prints, noting that these subtle details could provide valuable insights into the creature's size, weight, and walking pattern. Every piece of data they gathered felt like another step toward unraveling the mystery. New questions, new possibilities. As they delved deeper into their analysis, the team noticed something interesting. Some of the footprints were slightly smaller than others. This suggested the possibility that they weren't dealing with just one creature, but perhaps an entire family or group. The idea that multiple creatures might be living undetected in the forest added a new layer of complexity to their search. It wasn't just about finding Bigfoot anymore. It was about understanding its behavior, habitat, and perhaps even social structure. This revelation forced the team to rethink their strategy. Could these creatures be traveling together? Were they leaving tracks intentionally? Or was this just a rare glimpse of their secretive lives? The discovery raised as many questions as it answered, but for Russell and his team, that only added to the excitement. The footprints weren't just evidence. They were a sign that the team was on the right path. For years, Russell and his colleagues had been dismissed by skeptics as chasing a myth, but this find gave them renewed credibility and purpose. The distinct heel-to-toe walking pattern, combined with the sheer size of the prints, made it difficult to attribute the tracks to any known animal or human prank. If these footprints were genuine, they might represent the strongest case yet for the existence of Bigfoot. With every new expedition, Russell and his team feel they are getting closer to the truth. The discovery of the footprints marked a turning point, a moment when the legend of Bigfoot began to feel less like folklore and more like a solvable mystery. Following the footprints, a game-changing discovery. To enhance their investigation, the team brought in additional experts, including Ronnie LeBlanc and Maria Mayer, who specialized in analyzing unusual traces and footprints. Their involvement proved invaluable as they provided deeper insights into both the large and smaller prints found in the muddy terrain. Alongside them, Russell Moran joined the effort, bringing his extensive knowledge and unique skills to the table. Moran's fresh perspectives on the tracks helped the team uncover nuances they had previously overlooked, giving their analysis a new dimension. The footprints themselves offered a treasure trove of information. The depth and size of the impressions, combined with the patterns of strides, provided critical data about the creature's potential size and movement. These weren't just marks in the mud. They were pieces of a puzzle that suggested a creature of immense stature and strength, with movement patterns distinctly different from those of humans or known animals. For the team, this information wasn't just scientifically valuable. It also offered practical insights into the behavior, speed, and potential habits of the being that left them behind. Though it might seem tedious to focus so much on footprints, this investigation allowed the team to systematically rule out any known animals in the area as the makers of these tracks. The distinct heel-to-toe walking motion, combined with the size and spacing of the prints, didn't align with any species native to the region. The insights gained from this meticulous analysis deepened the mystery and raised the stakes. What kind of creature could leave such massive, deliberate tracks in such a remote and dense forest? Analyzing the trail, more than just footprints, the team's efforts to study the prints went beyond mere scientific curiosity. These footprints represented a potential breakthrough in their larger mission to prove the existence of Bigfoot. Each impression in the mud carried the weight of a question that had puzzled enthusiasts and skeptics alike for generations. The clarity and detail of the prints, found in a location far removed from human activity, made it highly unlikely that they were part of a hoax. No one would realistically wander barefoot through such rough terrain just to play a prank. As they carefully documented and analyzed the tracks, the team's excitement grew. The location of the prints told its own story. The trail began near a body of water, and the deep impressions suggested purposeful movement through the area. This hinted at intelligence and intent, rather than aimless wandering. Following the trail to a nearby riverbank, the team speculated that the creature might have emerged from the water before moving onto land. This suggested a level of adaptability that could explain why Bigfoot has remained so elusive. It might be equally comfortable in aquatic and terrestrial environments, ruling out hoaxes and moving toward discovery. With each step of their analysis, the team's confidence in the authenticity of the footprints grew stronger. The sheer effort and planning it would take to fake such precise tracks in such an isolated location made the idea of a hoax increasingly unlikely. The depth of the impressions suggested a creature with immense weight, pressing firmly into the forest floor with each step. The spacing between the prints revealed a long stride, far greater than that of an average human or even the largest known animals in the region. These characteristics, combined with the natural flow and precision of the tracks, indicated a being of considerable size and power, something that would be nearly impossible to fake convincingly without advanced technology or knowledge of biomechanics. The team's experts took a closer look at the footprints, focusing on the unique way the tracks transitioned from heel to toe. This rolling motion wasn't characteristic of any known wildlife in the area, nor did it match human gait patterns. The tracks suggested a walking style that was both deliberate and efficient, consistent with a bipedal creature built for traversing rugged terrain. This detail further separated the prints from any known species and underscored the possibility that they were dealing with something entirely new. What made the discovery even more compelling was the consistency of the tracks. Each footprint was clean, clear, and evenly spaced, as if the creature had moved with purpose. The location of the prints, deep within a remote and untouched part of the forest, added to their credibility. This wasn't a place frequented by hikers or pranksters. The area's isolation made it highly improbable that a human could have stumbled through barefoot or even with elaborate props just to create a hoax. For the team, this wasn't just about proving the existence of Bigfoot. It was a moment of scientific and personal discovery, an opportunity to uncover a piece of the natural world that had remained hidden for centuries. The prints weren't just physical evidence, they represented a story, a trail that hinted at something extraordinary moving through the wilderness. This wasn't merely a quest to confirm a legend, it was a journey to expand the boundaries of what we know about the creatures that share our planet. The footprints raised a tantalizing question. Where was the creature going? The direction of the tracks, combined with the purposeful stride, suggested a specific destination. This wasn't the random movement of an animal wandering aimlessly through the woods. The team speculated that the creature might have been following a path or searching for something. The idea that Bigfoot could possess a level of intelligence and intent comparable to higher primates only added to the significance of the discovery. By analyzing the size, spacing, and strength of the prints, the team was able to estimate the creature's size and speed. These calculations painted a picture of a being far larger and more powerful than any known human or animal. For Russell and his team, this reinforced the belief that they were on the verge of something monumental, a discovery that could change the way we understand the natural world. A turning point in Bigfoot research. The team's cautious and methodical approach to analyzing the footprints was crucial to maintaining the integrity of their findings. By ruling out known animals and potential hoaxes, they were left with one possibility. Something extraordinary had made those tracks. This realization pushed the team deeper into their investigation, determined to uncover more clues about the elusive creature. The prints weren't just physical evidence, they were a testament to the possibility that Bigfoot might be more than a legend. For the team, this was no longer just a hunt for a mythical creature, it was a serious scientific endeavor. Each step they took, guided by the tracks, brought them closer to understanding the truth about a being that has captured the imagination of countless generations. As the Expedition Bigfoot team continued their investigation, viewers couldn't help but feel that this moment might be crucial in the long quest to prove Bigfoot's existence. The isolation of the site where the footprints were discovered added an air of authenticity to the narrative. Finding such pristine tracks in an area so removed from human interference brought a compelling new dimension to the story. For the team, this was just the beginning. Each clue, each discovery pushed them further in their quest to gather undeniable proof that could change everything we know about the mysterious creature. The quest to understand Bigfoot's footprints. The team's dedication to analyzing the footprints with precision and care was a testament to their commitment to uncovering the truth. Their detailed documentation, combined with cutting-edge technology, represented their best chance of unraveling one of the greatest mysteries of modern cryptozoology. Every step they took brought them closer to potential answers, not just about whether Bigfoot exists, but also about understanding the phenomena that have long been attributed to the elusive creature. Their work captured the imaginations of viewers and researchers alike, sparking hope that Bigfoot might finally be moved from folklore into the realm of verified fact. The implications of such a discovery were monumental. Proving Bigfoot's existence would challenge our understanding of the natural world, forcing us to reconsider what creatures might still roam remote areas beyond the reach of modern civilization. For the team, this wasn't just about evidence, it was about exploring the unknown and bringing light to one of the strangest chapters in human curiosity. The team recognized that the isolation of the discovery site gave the footprints an undeniable air of credibility. Located deep within a remote and virtually untouched part of the wilderness, this location was far removed from human interference. The sheer difficulty of reaching the site made it highly improbable that anyone could have intentionally planted fake tracks. Even if someone had managed to venture this far, the level of detail and authenticity in the impressions would have required expert knowledge and tools, factors that made human tampering highly unlikely. At first glance, the footprints might have been dismissed as oversized human prints, but upon closer inspection, the team noted subtle details that immediately set them apart. The spacing between the toes, the depth of the impressions, and the unique heel-to-toe rolling pattern suggested a bipedal gait entirely unlike anything human. Recognizing the importance of these details, the team carefully gathered data to send to their colleague Bryce, who would utilize advanced analytical techniques to further investigate the print's origins. Bryce's expertise promised to bring even more clarity to this groundbreaking discovery. What made the discovery even more remarkable was the pristine condition of the footprints. The sharp, unspoiled edges of the impressions hinted that the creature had passed through the area only a short time before the team arrived. This realization added a sense of urgency and excitement to their investigation, as it meant the creature might still be nearby. The location of the tracks, near a water source, sparked fascinating theories about Bigfoot's adaptability. The prints suggested the creature had emerged from the water and moved purposefully into the forest. Such behavior hinted at a level of versatility that could explain why Bigfoot has remained so elusive for so long. A creature that could traverse both aquatic and terrestrial environments with ease would be extraordinarily difficult to track. The team's documentation process reflected the significance of their find. They took high-resolution photographs and videos, ensuring that every angle and detail was captured. But recording the prints wasn't enough. They knew the importance of creating molds to preserve the intricate details of the impressions for future study. Casting the prints was a delicate and painstaking process. Even the smallest misstep could distort the evidence, so the team worked with precision and care, ensuring that the molds would serve as an enduring record of this extraordinary find. These casts would allow experts to analyze the footprints in depth, compare them to known species, and search for patterns that might reveal more about the creature's behavior and anatomy. One of the most exciting aspects of the discovery was the potential to gather DNA from the footprints. The team understood that any biological material left behind, such as skin cells or hair, could hold the key to unraveling the mystery of Bigfoot. DNA analysis had the power to confirm the existence of an entirely unknown species, providing a definitive answer to a question that had perplexed researchers for decades. Beyond simply proving the creature's existence, DNA could offer insights into its genetic makeup, evolutionary history, and even its relationship to other known species. The team approached this task with extreme care, knowing how rare and invaluable the opportunity was. Collecting and preserving potential DNA samples required meticulous handling to avoid contamination. They carefully examined the edges and deeper impressions of the footprints, searching for any trace evidence that might have been deposited as the creature moved. If they succeeded in extracting viable DNA, the results could represent a historic breakthrough, not just for Bigfoot enthusiasts, but for the scientific community as a whole. The stakes were high, and the team felt the weight of the moment. They knew they were on the brink of a discovery that could redefine humanity's understanding of the natural world. With each piece of evidence they gathered, they moved closer to bridging the gap between myth and reality, turning the legend of Bigfoot into something tangible and scientifically validated. On the brink of discovery, the significance of the footprints, combined with the potential for DNA analysis, placed the team on the edge of a breakthrough. For Russell Acord and his Expedition Bigfoot team, this day felt like one of the luckiest in their careers. Their findings represented some of the most compelling evidence ever uncovered in the search for Bigfoot. From the massive size and unique walking patterns of the footprints to the pristine conditions in which they were found, every detail pointed toward the possibility that the creature might be real and closer than anyone had imagined. As the team prepared for the next steps in their investigation, their excitement was palpable. They knew that these footprints could be the key to solving the age-old mystery of Bigfoot. Whether the creature is a myth or a reality remains to be seen, but for Russell and his team, this was a day that brought them closer to answers than ever before. Is Bigfoot just a wild myth, or is something extraordinary lurking in the forests, waiting to be discovered? The luckiest discovery. A lot of people remain doubtful. After all, hard evidence proving Bigfoot's existence is almost non-existent. For many scientists, this makes Bigfoot nothing more than a myth. But for adventurers like Maria's team, The unknown is irresistible. They're driven by the possibility that a new species might still be out there, waiting to be discovered. Claims of Bigfoot sightings pop up all the time, but most lack any real proof. Even photos and videos that surface tend to be blurry or unclear, leading many to believe they're just hoaxes. But this team isn't about wild guesses or shaky evidence. They're on the ground, collecting findings they believe could change the conversation entirely. Although leading the team to Bigfoot is Russell Acord, but the secret weapon of their expedition is Dr. Maria.
All right, so here's the game plan then. I really want to scan this, and
Perfect.
you haven't touched it, right, Russ?
No, absolutely not.
So I can collect an eDNA sample,
Perfect.
and we should figure out where this thing either went or where it was coming from.
As a primatologist, she brings science into a world often dismissed as fantasy. Her expertise ensures that every discovery is examined with care, separating facts from fiction. Bigfoot might be a mystery, but Maria's approach is all about logic and biology. She believes that exploring the unknown, even when it seems impossible, is how discoveries are made. And then they found it, a set of footprints that didn't belong, completely out of place. For the team, it was a breakthrough moment, the kind they had been waiting for. Could this finally be the proof they need? Massive footprints. As the team ventured deeper into the woods, they came across something that stopped them in their tracks. Massive footprints. These prints looked vaguely human, yet they were unlike anything the crew had ever encountered. This discovery was a crucial moment for the team. The sheer size of the footprints immediately suggested they were left by a creature far larger than any known animal in the area. Footprints, in their own way, tell a story. And for the Expedition Bigfoot team, this find was nothing short of a major breakthrough. But the question remained, what kind of creature could have left such enormous tracks? Bigfoot enthusiasts have long described the creature as a towering figure, somewhere between 7 and 10 feet tall, with a muscular build resembling a mix between a large primate and a human. However, its distinctly non-human features have always set it apart. The prints they discovered were far larger than even the biggest human footprints, including those of professional athletes.
Is that a bear, maybe? That looks pretty big.
That's a hand.
Look. Holy look at the size of that.
It's huge, right? That area?
That's monstrous.
Comparing the prints to known animals in the region quickly ruled out the usual suspects, such as bears. Even more interesting was the depth of the impressions, which indicated that whatever left them was not only massive but incredibly heavy as well. One detail stood out. The prints showed a heel-to-toe walking pattern, a hallmark of bipedal creatures. This ruled out four-legged animals and strongly suggested that the creature walked upright, much like a human. Yet, the size and depth of the prints pointed to something far larger and heavier than any human. All these details seemed to align with the traditional description of Bigfoot. The team knew they had to approach this scientifically. They carefully measured the footprints, noting their width, length, depth, and the stride between each print. These measurements helped them estimate the creature's height and weight, reinforcing the idea that they were dealing with a large, upright walking biped. Excitement grew as the team analyzed the details, realizing they might be closer than ever to uncovering real evidence of Bigfoot's existence. To preserve their findings, they decided to cast the footprints. Using a material that hardened into a durable mold, they captured the exact shape and details of the prints. The casting process was an important step for the team. It allowed them to make a solid copy of the footprints so they could study them in detail later. This was helpful in case the original prints got damaged or disappeared over time. The team wanted to make sure they captured every single detail of the prints. If anything went wrong during the casting, they could lose valuable information. So they worked carefully, taking their time to get it right. To Maria's thrill. Maria Mayer was a big supporter of preserving evidence like this. She often talked about how most discoveries are limited to fossils or bones, which don't always tell the full story of how a creature lived or behaved. By casting the footprints, the team had the chance to learn much more. Once the casts were done, the team felt proud of their work. These molds would let researchers study the footprints closely, comparing them to animals we already know. The goal was to find out if there was something special about the prints, maybe even evidence of an unknown species. For the team, the real excitement was in what the casts could reveal. They hoped to use them to learn more about the size, shape, and movement of the creature that left the prints. If these details matched the legendary Bigfoot or pointed to a brand new animal, it could change everything. But this was just the beginning. More evidence. As the team searched for more signs, they came into something unexpected: knuckle prints. These impressions in the ground looked similar to marks left by primates like gorillas and chimpanzees when they walk on their knuckles. It was an exciting find because it hinted that the creature responsible for the massive footprints might also have some primate-like traits. Perhaps it used its knuckles for support when moving, just like some large primates do. Maria Mayer and her team carefully studied the knuckle prints. If the creature could move on all fours, it might have a gait similar to animals like gorillas, which raised new questions. Could this creature switch between walking upright and on all fours, depending on what it needed or the environment it was in? The team noticed how the knuckle prints were spaced in relation to the footprints, piecing together clues about how the creature might move. These two sets of prints together painted a picture of a strong, adaptable being. But things became even more interesting when they examined prints near a riverbank. Some of the impressions appeared fresh, as though they had been made the night before. The realization gave the team chills. Was the creature still nearby, silently watching them from the shadows? If so, it might be more intelligent than anyone had expected, staying hidden while keeping an eye on its surroundings. A relic of old times. Many experts who debate Bigfoot's existence suggest it could be a relic population of a prehistoric primate, like Gigantopithecus. Gigantopithecus, a colossal ape species that once roamed Asia, is believed to have gone extinct thousands of years ago. However, some researchers theorize that a small, isolated population may have survived in remote areas of North America, evolving into what we now call Bigfoot. For Maria Mayer and her team, this connection fueled their determination to uncover the truth behind the hidden creature. As they followed the trail of footprints, another detail caught their attention. The prints seemed to originate near the edge of a body of water, leading them to theorize that the creature might have emerged from the water before wandering into the forest. This sparked an unusual idea. What if Bigfoot was amphibious? The thought didn't seem too far-fetched to Maria and her crew. If Bigfoot could thrive both on land and in water, it might explain why it had managed to evade human detection for so long. Most Bigfoot searches have focused on forests and other land-based habitats, but if the creature could navigate rivers, lakes, or even swamps, it would have a significant advantage in avoiding discovery. The dense forests and vast water systems of North America offer countless hiding places for an intelligent being like Bigfoot. This amphibious hypothesis raised fresh questions about Bigfoot's behavior and habitat. If the creature used waterways as secret highways, it could move undetected, leaving only faint traces behind. Maria and her team realized that their search strategies might need to shift toward aquatic environments, where Bigfoot could potentially conceal itself. With this new perspective, they began to explore rivers and lakes, considering the possibility that Bigfoot used water as a clever means of escape and travel. But just as they started to adapt their approach, the team found something that would leave them completely shocked. Evidence of Bigfoot family. One of the most thrilling discoveries came when the team came upon multiple sets of footprints. Some were larger than others, which raised an exciting possibility. There could be more than one creature in the area. This suggested that they might be dealing with a family or social group of Bigfoot. As they examined the tracks more closely, Russell noticed something interesting: the presence of smaller footprints, which raised the possibility that they had found evidence of a baby Bigfoot. This discovery was huge for the team. It opened up a new line of thought that could provide them with valuable insights into Bigfoot's behavior, life cycle, and social structure. If the smaller footprints did indeed belong to a juvenile, it would mean that Bigfoot might have a reproductive system and parenting style similar to that of other primates. This sparked intense debate within the team. Were Bigfoot creatures solitary, or did they live in family groups? The idea of Bigfoot living in social units made the team rethink their entire approach to studying the creature. With this new information, the team turned to analyzing the size and spacing of the footprints. By doing so, they could estimate the age and size of both the juvenile and the adult Bigfoot. This was key to understanding more about how Bigfoot grew and matured, as well as how it interacted with its environment. If they could learn more about how Bigfoot's family dynamics worked, it would not only help their investigation, but also provide other researchers with the tools to understand the creature better. But the team wasn't done yet. Throughout the investigation, they made sure to document everything they found with the utmost care. They used a mix of traditional methods like photography and note-taking, alongside modern technology such as 3D scanning. This combination of approaches was essential to creating detailed records of the footprints and other clues they came across. The goal was clear. They wanted to preserve the evidence in the most accurate and thorough way possible. This careful documentation was crucial because it allowed the team to analyze the evidence thoroughly and share it with experts for further study. One of the most important tools they used was 3D scanning technology. This cutting-edge method allowed the team to capture precise and highly detailed digital representations of the footprints. These digital models could be shared with other researchers, compared to known tracks, and preserved for future analysis, making sure the evidence would stand the test of time. By incorporating this advanced technology into their research, the team made sure their findings would be taken seriously and could withstand the scrutiny of the scientific community. This was especially important, since the idea of creatures like Bigfoot is often met with skepticism. Modern scientists largely dismiss the existence of such mythical beings, labeling them as mere myths and legends. But with their detailed, high-tech documentation, the team hoped to present evidence that could challenge these long-held assumptions and open the door to more serious scientific inquiry. Furthermore, the careful documentation allowed the team to present their findings in a credible and professional way. This was particularly important because cryptozoology, the study of creatures like Bigfoot, is often met with skepticism. For their evidence to be taken seriously, it was essential that the team's findings adhered to scientific standards. By presenting their research with such precision, they aimed to make a compelling case that could convince even the mainstream media that they had, in fact, come across Bigfoot. At least, that was the hope of Mireya and her crew. The U.S. government involvement. The story of Bigfoot has been circulating for years, with countless people, many of them individual researchers, arguing that the creature truly exists. This belief has only grown stronger over time, fueled by numerous claims of terrifying encounters with the mysterious creature deep in the woods. As these wild stories spread, the U.S. government took notice. Concerned about the growing number of people reporting sightings and experiences with Bigfoot, they decided to step in and investigate. Their aim was to shed some light on the situation and offer their official perspective on whether Bigfoot was more than just a myth. As the team continued their search, they were tracking something unusual. It appeared to be moving, and despite the distance, it was clear that whatever it was walking with purpose. One of the team members noted that it looked like it was a few miles up from where they were, and they began to worry about the distance they had to cover. The team wondered if they could catch up in time, especially if the creature had a head start. As they debated their next move, they were also trying to figure out where it might be headed, and if the river it was near could give them some clues. Meanwhile, another breakthrough came when the team received a surprising piece of information. The FBI had released new files on Bigfoot, which were now available to the public. These documents, made public on June 5, 2019, revealed that the FBI had been involved in at least one Bigfoot investigation. It turned out that the agency had analyzed a biological sample that was once thought to belong to the elusive creature. The story behind this sample went back to the 1970s when Peter Byrne, a well-known Bigfoot investigator, had acquired a piece of evidence during an expedition. Byrne, who was the director of the Bigfoot Information Center and Exhibition at the time, was following up on a credible Bigfoot sighting when he obtained a sample of hairs and skin believed to belong to the creature. The FBI gets involved. In 1976, Byrne reached out to the FBI, asking if they could analyze the mysterious hairs. His team had been unable to identify the sample and sought the agency's expertise. Byrne also asked if the FBI had analyzed similar Bigfoot hair samples in the past and requested to know their conclusions. This correspondence between Byrne and the FBI's Scientific and Technical Services Division became the bulk of the newly released file, which is now accessible to the public through the FBI Records Vault. The documents primarily focused on Byrne's attempts to get the hair samples analyzed, and it included a lot of back-and-forth communication between Byrne, FBI officials like J. Cochran Jr., and experts like Howard Curtis from the Academy of Applied Sciences in Boston. This file marked the FBI's official involvement in Bigfoot research. Initially, the process was slow and involved a lot of back-and-forth correspondence between Peter Byrne and the FBI's J. Cochran. But eventually, after much persistence, Byrne's request for an analysis was approved. On December 15, 1976, Cochran sent a letter to Byrne, explaining that while the FBI typically conducts examinations only for law enforcement agencies in connection with criminal investigations, they occasionally make exceptions for scientific research. With that, they agreed to examine the hair and tissue samples that Byrne had submitted. The letter also provided instructions on how to send the samples, along with a request for any background information about where the specimens came from. However, things took an unexpected turn when Byrne never received the letter, though Howard Curtis from the Academy of Applied Sciences did. Curtis, who was helping Byrne with the Bigfoot investigation, sent the samples to the FBI as requested. The examination of the samples went ahead, and on February 24, 1977, Cochran wrote back to Curtis with the results. The analysis of the hairs, which was done under incident light microscopy, focused on several factors like root structure, medullary structure, and cuticle thickness. In addition to the microscopic analysis, the hairs were also compared to known samples using a comparison microscope. After this thorough analysis, the FBI concluded that the hairs did not belong to a Bigfoot. Instead, they were found to be from a deer. This was a surprising turn of events for Byrne and his team, as they had hoped the evidence might be something more mysterious. 40 years later, the FBI declassified their Bigfoot file, but it's important to note that this did not mean the agency was endorsing the idea of Bigfoot's existence. In fact, just like the U.S. military's long-term investigation into UFOs, the FBI's analysis of these hair samples wasn't an endorsement of the creature's reality. Benjamin Radford, a well-known skeptic, explained that the FBI's involvement in the Bigfoot case didn't mean they believed in Bigfoot. They were just helping a researcher by analyzing the hair samples. According to Radford, the FBI wasn't investigating Bigfoot itself. They were simply doing a scientific test on the hair. He said that while Bigfoot believers might see this as proof the creature exists, that wasn't the case. Radford argued that people who believe in Bigfoot might think the FBI's actions mean the creature must be real, but he didn't agree. He pointed out that the FBI didn't send out a team to search for Bigfoot. They only ran tests on a few hairs, which isn't a full investigation. Interestingly, Peter Byrne seemed to have forgotten that the FBI had already concluded the hair was from a deer. Byrne had been away, so the FBI sent the results to an associate. This associate had planned to give Byrne the letter when he got back, but when the FBI released their files in 2019, Byrne acted like he had never heard that the hair was from a deer. This reaction made it seem like Byrne never fully processed the results, or perhaps didn't receive the letter properly. Far from over. While the revelation about the deer hair was disappointing for Bigfoot enthusiasts, many still believe the case is far from closed. Some skeptics and conspiracy theorists argue that the FBI might be hiding documents about Bigfoot, keeping them from the public eye. For these people, the FBI's decision to release only part of the files is seen as part of a larger strategy to mislead the public. They believe the government is trying to prevent people from discovering the truth about Bigfoot. In their view, if Bigfoot were proven to exist, it would spark a broader search for other ancient mysteries that could be hidden by authorities. Because mainstream news outlets aren't likely to report on Bigfoot's existence, some researchers are taking matters into their own hands. One such researcher, Doug Teague, filmed what he believes is one of the clearest videos of a Bigfoot sighting in North Carolina. In 2019, while walking with his dog, Doug checked a few trail cameras he had set up in the woods. Suddenly, he heard a loud knocking sound from the distance, which broke the silence of the forest. As he moved closer to investigate, he spotted a strange creature standing on top of a ridge. Without hesitation, Doug pulled out his camera and began recording. He decided to follow the creature's trail, carefully tracking its footprints. He even took casts of the prints to preserve the evidence. According to Doug, when he got close to the creature, it began throwing stones at him, something that animals like bears can't do. Later, an anthropologist examined the footprint casts and estimated that the creature was about 15 feet tall, which aligns with the size typically associated with Bigfoot. While Doug's video and evidence gained some attention, many in the scientific community dismissed his findings as unconvincing. They suggested it could have been a person in a gorilla costume. However, for many Bigfoot believers, this doesn't shake their conviction. They argue that no matter how much evidence is presented, the scientific community may never acknowledge Bigfoot's existence because it would disrupt the status quo. If the creature were confirmed to exist, it could lead people to dig deeper into other myths and legends in search of more hidden truths, something the elites are determined to avoid.